do. Okay, and what do you want this story to be about?
Two little pigs.
Two little pigs?
Baby pigs.
Okay, no. This can be a short story because it's late. Okay, hold on. Let me think of it real quick. You said two little pigs?
No, two little babies.
Two little baby pigs. Okay. Once upon a time, in the land of Indiana, there lived, in the land of Japan, there lived two little baby pigs. Now, they were brothers, and they absolutely loved life on the farm. On the farm, there were horses, and there were ducks, there were cows,
Yucky stuff.
chickens, yeah, yucky stuff. These two little
Cow
pigs,
poop.
these two little pigs loved it all. They loved to sneak around and scare the cows. And sometimes when no one was looking, they would go up on their favorite horse. The horse's name was Jim.
No, Katato.
The horse's name was Katato. And they would climb up on Katato's back because he'd let them. And he'd gallop all around the prairie. And these two little piggies just loved it. They would be riding the horse like humans, even though they were just these cute little piggies. So one day, the two little piggies were just hanging out in the barn when a man in a truck pulled up. And the man in the...
Monster truck.
It was a monster truck, yes. He pulled up, and they saw one of the large hogs. A hog is a male pig. They saw one of the large hogs get put onto the truck, and it drove away. And they never saw that hog again. And they said, goodness, where could they have taken that hog? But they continued to just be two happy little pigs, not knowing what was going on. A couple weeks later, the same man in the truck came, and he took another hog. And this time, while the hog was being taken up to the truck, they ran up to him and they said, Mr. Hog, where's the man taking you? And the hog, he looked very sad. And he looked at the two little piggies and he said, they're taking me to the bacon factory. And they said to the hog, what's bacon? And the hog said, don't worry about it, little piggies. You'll find out someday. So the two little big piggies went back to playing, but they couldn't stop thinking about the big hog and how sad he looked. And they were wondering, what in the world is the bacon factory? Do you know what a bacon factory is, Mateo?
Yeah.
What is it?
A factory that makes bacon.
Yeah, and do you know what bacon comes from?
What does it start with?
What does it start with? Actually, so you're a lot like the two little piggies. They didn't know what a bacon factory was. They didn't even know what bacon was. So they started going around the farm and asking the different animals. First, they asked the chickens. They said, chickens, do you know what bacon is? But chickens are dumb. The chickens had no idea. They said, bok, 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 bok. Sounds like a video game. And the piggies said, no, it's probably not a video game because Mr. Hog was really sad. So then they went around to the ducks. The ducks were dumb too. They didn't know anything about bacon factories. And they said, quack, 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 quack. Bacon, huh? Sounds like a place where they make metal stuff. And the pigs were like, and the little piggies were like, why would they take Mr. Hog to a place where they make metal stuff? That sounds weird. So they decided they were going to have to go to the smartest animal on the farm. Do you know who's the smartest animal on the farm?
The horse.
No, horses are kind of dumb too.
What is it?
Pigs are smart.
Pigs are actually the smartest animals on the farm.
So they went to the dad pig?
No, there weren't any more dad pigs because that was the last of the big hogs and he was taken away. Their dad had left a long time ago. He'd gone to the bacon factory too.
Oh.
So they went to the owl. The owl was the smartest animal on that farm besides the
I was
pigs.
gonna guess owl.
Yeah, owls are very wise and they live a long time.
I forgot about the owl.
Yeah, and they said to the owl, "Mr. Owl, do you know what a bacon factory is?" And the owl looked at them very sternly with his big owly eyes. And he said to the two little piggies, "Why would you ask that question, little piggies?" And they said, "Because that's where all the hogs have gone, and we think when we grow up, we'll have to go there too. But when the hogs left, they all look sad, so we think it might not be a fun place. Can you please tell us what the bacon factory is?" So the owl went on and he explained to the little piggies that when a pig becomes a certain age, and people look at the pig, they say, "Man, that pig would really taste delicious on my hamburger." And they said, "What?" He said, "Yes." He said, "The humans, they love bacon, and bacon comes from pigs."
David doesn't like fatty bacon.
Oh, no, fatty bacon's the best kind, right?
Yeah, David doesn't like it.
So the pigs now understood that the hogs were being carried off to the bacon factory to actually be chopped up and turned into bacon and pork and other delicious
I don't really
meats.
like the fat.
And ribs. Oh, yeah, ribs. Mm-hmm.
Daddy, I don't really like the really fat
What?
bacon.
Ribs are the yummiest thing you can make out of pigs and cows.
You think ribs are better than bacon?
Yes.
What about ribs wrapped in bacon?
What's ribs wrapped in bacon?
Dunked in barbecue sauce.
Oh, that would look so disgusting.
Now, bacon is actually very delicious, and it comes from pigs.
Story.
Yes, but the two little piggies were so sad for the hog that had been taken away because they loved that hog. He was the last of the big hogs on the farm, and that's when they decided that they needed a plan. They needed to escape from the farm. They needed to find the factory, the bacon factory.
They could use potato.
Yes, and they needed to save all the hogs that were there, especially their hog friend, who was kind of like
And their dad.
and their dad, who might still be there too.
Daddy,
What?
you know how they were just talking to the big hog?
Uh-huh.
They were just...
Daddy.
What?
They were just talking to the big hog. He was still there.
No, he's at the bacon factory now.
They were talking to an owl.
Hold on, this was supposed to be a short story. Let me just finish the story. So the two little piggies went to Katato, their favorite horse, and they said, Katato, we need your help." And he said, "Nay, anything you need, little piggies, you can ride on me. I'll take care of it." And they said, we need you to go and follow the dust trail to where that man in the truck was going, because we need to follow him and we need to go to the bacon factory and save all the hogs." And Katato said, "Of course I'll go." And then somehow, like mystically in the background, started playing music like this: dun 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 dun. And the two little piggies got on Katato and they started riding down the road, trying to follow the truck, the man in the truck, to the pig factory. Dun 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 dun
Wait,
dun
I'll
dun
do the
dun.
music and you make them go.
Okay, and the pigs were just riding down the road, and Katato's galloping as fast as he can, trying to catch the truck. Dun 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 dun.
My diaper's really loose.
I'll fix it.
Mine's too.
Let me finish the story.
Slide down.
Okay, so they finally found where the truck had pulled in, and they saw the factory, and they saw all the hogs that were out in the back in like this little fenced off area. And they heard inside the factory sounds that they didn't want to hear. And then they smelled smells that were absolutely delicious, but they didn't want those smells to come from any of their hog friends. So the two little piggies snuck into the corral, and they said, "Hey, all you hogs, hey, all you hogs, you need to come with us, because the bacon factory's not a good place. They're going to turn you into bacon and ribs and all kinds of other delicious meats." And all the hogs started to gather around the two little piggies, and they said, we know, but how could we ever escape from here?" And the piggies said, just follow us, we know the way." So they went to the gate that no hog was ever able to open. But the two little piggies, because they were smart and clever, and they had tiny little piggy feet,
And they were
small, they climbed up to the fancy lock, and they said, Katato, we need your help." They climbed up on Katato's back so they could reach the latch. And it only took them a couple minutes, and those two clever little piggies undid the latch, and the gate swung open. And the two piggies were on Katato's back, and they said, "Giddy up, Katato." And then they said to the hogs, follow us to freedom. Dun 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 dun. And down the road they all went back to the farm. All the hogs were free, and they were there on the farm, and they were so...
What would the bacon factory people say?
Well, we'll let the bacon factory people worry about themselves. For now...
What about the dad?
They found... Okay, so when all the hogs were back on the farm, and they were all cheering and celebrating for the two little piggies and their best friend Katato, who'd saved them, the piggies started looking around for their friend, the old hog, and they found him. He said, "Oh, little piggies, thank you for bringing me back to my home." And they said, "Well, you were at the bacon factory. Did you see our dad?" And he said, "Yes, I saw him, but I haven't seen him since this morning. I think he might have been taken into the bacon factory." So the two little piggies were like, Katato, we have to go back. We have to find our dad." Katato said,
Wait, Daddy? You know when they were all rescuing the piggies?
Uh-huh.
What if they already took a piggy and started chopping it up when they already rescued the pigs?
"Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happened, but don't worry about it for this story."
What about the dad?
So they jumped back on Katato now that all the rest of the hogs were safe, and they rode back up to the bacon factory. This time they left Katato a little ways off because they had to get sneaky. And so they went off into some bushes where they found, and I don't know why they were there, but they found these like little piggy ninja costumes. And the two little...
Piggy just little ninja costumes for dolls.
They might have been, but they were there, and they put them on, and they were the coolest looking little piggy ninjas you ever saw.
They would.
And so real quietly and sneakily, they went into the bacon factory. Okay, well, as soon as I'm done with the story, I'll make her turn it off. As soon as they went into the bacon factory, they saw like a long conveyor belt, and they saw a single hog who was tied down to the conveyor belt, and he was going into the machine that was going to chop him up into ribs and bacon and other delicious pig meats. And they said, "That's our dad." So the two little ninja piggies, they went real quietly along the floor and up a rope into some scaffolding. And they...
I didn't know they had ninja swords attached to the back.
They didn't need ninja swords because they were clever little piggies.
And they could chew the ropes.
So they looked down at their dad, who was like 10 seconds from getting chopped up, and they said, "Dad, Dad," and he was tied onto the conveyor belt, remember? And he looked up and he said, "My little piggies, you've come to save me." And they said, "Hang tight, Dad, we'll get you." And so they found like a long rope that had a hook on it with a pulley.
The person wasn't looking. He was doing something on his phone.
Yeah, the man who was running the machine was goofing off on his cell phone. So the two little piggies went over to the pulley and they dropped the rope down real slow and quiet, or actually real quickly because they only had a couple of seconds, and they hooked it onto their dad right around his paws where he was tied with a rope, and
They hooked it onto the rope and pulled him completely up.
And right, like 2 seconds, like right as he was about to go into the chopping machine, they pulled, and up went their dad, and he was saved from the chopping machine.
But he was still tied up.
And they pulled him up to the scaffolding, and they cut off his ropes, and they said, "Dad, come with us. We've got Katato waiting outside. He'll take us all back to the farm." And so they snuck out, and they jumped on Katato, and their dad galloped behind them. And right as they were leaving, all the men from the bacon factory ran out screaming, "Where are all the hogs? What have you done with all the hogs, you dirty little piggies?" But the little piggies had saved them all, and they galloped back to the farm. Dun 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 dun.
I'll make the
dun.
music.
Okay, you make the music.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then back at the farm, all the hogs cheered. "Hooray for the 2 little piggies! Hooray for the 2 little piggies!"
And Katato.
And Katato! And they loved their little ninja costumes so much that they wore them all the time. And they became the 2 little heroes of the farm. And now it wasn't just a regular farm now. It was a hog rescue farm. And any hogs from all around the land of Japan that didn't want to end up in the bacon factory, they went to the hog rescue farm where the 2 little clever piggies would protect them from those wicked, wicked men who would turn them into bacon. And the 2
Ribs.
or ribs, wrapped in bacon, dunked in barbecue sauce. Did you just throw a boogie at me?
No.
Nasty.
Tato always picks it up.
So the 2 little piggies
I didn't.
and their best friend Katato and all of their hog friends lived happily ever after. The end.
Dun, 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 dun. They gotta be riding off
Dun
into the
dun
sunset on Katato.
dun dun dun.
They're riding off in the sunset
Dun,
with
dun.
Katato.
Yeah, riding off into the sunset. Dun dun dun.
What's that?
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
What is that?